What's something your employer did that instantly killed employee morale?
Boss pitched a sales incentive trip to Cancun if the team hit the goal. My team exceeded the goal, and then they canceled the trip. 2 people quit. I accepted a position with their main competitor, and less than a year later, they closed in bankruptcy. Karma's a beach.
A co-worker of mine won Employee of the Year and was given a free cruise. He won the prize by never saying no to the owner, which he continued, and missed the cruise deadline. He still works there.
He is nothing but a drone. I feel sorry for him.
I do too. Work is his life. He's almost 50, lives alone, and often answers work emails at 11 p.m. on a Friday.
This school wanted to switch to Chromebooks. So what did they do? One summer while teachers weren't working, they removed every single Windows station, and replaced them with Chromebooks, to be issued to teachers. They were told to
figure it out.
When teachers came up and asked how they could teach Photoshop, programming, AutoCAD 3D modeling, etc., administrators basically Googled their program name, plus Chromebook extension, and told them,
"See, there's an extension for it, and it works."
I don't think I have to add that it did not work. They ended up bringing back the desktops for most teachers. Former teacher. The administrators at my school were usually pretty chill, but had a habit of randomly coming up with minor rules that they would enforce for us. Male teachers had to wear ties, even on Jeans Day, etc. Overall it wasn't bad, except for the time an administrator made a crucial mistake. They banned staff from drinking coffee in front of students. Now if you've never worked in a school, you'd think this isn't a big deal. When you spend nearly 100% of your day in front of students, it definitely is a big deal. First we tried to find any loophole we could. Energy drinks? Banned the next week. Tea? Banned 2 days later. It was chaos. Eventually, we realized they couldn't fire an entire school's worth of teachers and aides, so we ended up doing the one thing that private schools fear most: we formed a union. Realistically, it was more of a weird pseudo-union, focused specifically on civil disobedience regarding the coffee issue, but it ruffled feathers nonetheless. The administrators caved to our demands, allowed us to drink coffee again, and even bought each of us a reusable coffee mug as a gesture of goodwill. And that's the story of how a handful of school administrators almost accidentally created a teachers' union over a complete non-issue.
I'm a teacher. I guarantee that it stemmed from a parent complaint. Because parents will complain about any stupid thing their kid says.
Mr. Smith doesn't teach. He just drinks coffee.
Told a bunch of people they were going to be promoted to get us to do extra work. No one got promoted. I basically did her job for a month. Me and 3 of my coworkers quit, and she got fired a few months later.
My job has been doing that to people, including me. They pass people over for promotions, then say,
"But, if you do all this extra stuff, it'll look good for the next one."
Meanwhile, managers promote their friends, basically.
I work in a big corporate building. The same older lady came by everyone's desk towards the end of the day to collect the trash. Just the sweetest lady ever, and every time she'd walk to my desk, she'd give me a big smile, and ask me how my day was, and chat for a minute as she got my trash. Usually I'd dump it in for her. I had some rough days, but she has a way to cheer me up, and send me home on a higher note. I know, I'm not the only one either. So? Then a few weeks back our work implemented a new policy to cut down on trash usage. It's no longer allowed to have a trash bin at our desk, and we have to walk across the room and use the community trash to throw anything away. Not a huge deal, but the real reason they did it is so they can cut down on cost, in other words the cleaning crew. Sad to say that I haven't seen Sharon since.
We're moving manufacturing overseas.
All we do at this facility is manufacturing.
Yep.
Never seen a less productive or less motivated workforce. And it was announced over a year before the move too. Would have been better for the company to just spring it on people with 2 weeks. Although, props to them for giving people a chance to find new work ahead of time.
Yeah, I've seen companies not even tell the workforce they were closing. The workers showed up one day, and the place was locked up. A security guard was there to tell them. They brought in scabs to clear out the building. Didn't even have their own employees do it for one last job.
Small business. 20 employees, plus, or minus. Boss made a big speech about austerity measures, and no raises this year. A week and a half later, he drives up in a brand new Silverado with all the bells and whistles. Expense to the business, of course. He would hate to have to pay taxes on those profits. One of the less subtle members of the staff took a literal shit in front of his office door.
Put up a poster that said,
Complaining is like vomiting. You feel better, but everyone around you feels sick.
The morale was already bad, but it was just a shitty way to take a hit at upset employees, rather than do anything positive.
Complaining is like vomiting. Something caused it to happen, and it's best to figure out why, and change it so it doesn't happen again.
Telling employees that they are going to fire you if you don't make more sales. Then when someone quits, tells them,
No. That was just motivation. We were never going to fire you.
We must work for the same company, lol.
Just realized how often that happened at a previous job. It was a small company, just a handful of us doing all the work. If I made a mistake, there was a 2-hour meeting beating on me for wasting resources. They were doing me a solid by not firing me, etc. I quit, was enjoying a couple weeks, while setting up a new job. I got called back from them, gave me a raise to come back. Took almost 2 years to leave again. Once I had a better job lined up, they still had no clue how to treat employees.
It's amazing how many people, in managerial roles, do not have the first clue about the human mind.
Can't have empathy when you're far consumed in your power trip.
I was one of a large number of programmers working on a project at CSC. We had a deadline coming up in a couple months, and they overpromised to the client, and then asked us all to work extra hard to meet the deadline, and asked us to work 50+ hour weeks. Which we did, and then some. Some of us put in 70 to 80 hour weeks to meet this deadline, but once that deadline was met, suddenly there was another deadline they needed to meet. And another. People got tired, had lives to lead, and scaled back on their hours. Most of us were still working, 50 to 60 hours a week, but not a lot more than that. Once they realized, we weren't killing ourselves on their project any longer, there was an all-hands meeting, where the managers told us that they were incredibly disappointed in our lack of professionalism, because so comparatively few employees were now working more than 50 hours a week. One of our harder workers stood up, and said,
Look, I have 3 kids. I'm driving an hour, into and out of, work every day, I'm taking care of my family, I'm trying to get presents for Christmas, write out Christmas cards, decorate, and clean the house for everyone, we're having over for the holidays. I'm having a really hard time just getting to 50.
And the manager looked at her, and sneered.
If it wasn't Christmas, it'd be, because it's Easter, or Memorial Day, or, because it's summer, and it's nice out. You'd always have some excuse.
There was dead silence in the room. When we left that meeting, we didn't talk to each other, but every single worker on that project put in exactly 50 hours a week after that. Then came Christmas, raise, and bonus time. Every worker on the project got a 0.5% raise, the managers got a 5-figure bonus. We were pissed. For management, the pain came after Christmas. First week off the year, 4 programmers had better jobs lined up, and quit. 3 more the following week. 5 the next. We hemorrhaged 3 to 5 programmers every single week for over 3 months. It got to the point where the managers had to schedule a meeting every Monday at 11 to discuss that week's resignations, and rearrange the surviving staff. CSC. It got to the point where the managers had to schedule a meeting every Monday at 11 to discuss that week's resignations, and rearrange the surviving staff.
Like you guys are at war, and discussing how many naval vessels have been lost.
I once had a retail manager, who sent out a memo, that we worked so hard, and did such a great job this month, that she gets a bonus. That went over like a lead balloon.
Worked in a deli years ago, and the manager promised us a no-holds-barred barbecue at his place if he got his bonus for the deli performing well. He got his bonus and, surprise surprise, we got nothing. Apparently, the wife wanted the bonus for their kids' private school fees. Doug, you suck.
Comment repost. I went through this same kind of bull. I, along with 9 other coworkers, did a Kaizen project, where we cut customer complaints from over 100 per month to single digits, due to streamlining our process. The plant manager sent out a company-wide email, essentially taking credit for the whole thing. He noted how he put together this team, and under his direct supervision, he got the project done without even mentioning our names. That pissed all of us off. Until the continuous improvement manager sent a reply thanking all of us in a big "F you" to the plant manager. I was just happy that the continuous improvement manager was a no bullshit guy. I left that job a few months after we completed it, and still use it on my resume.
They banned phones, electronics, puzzles, books, etc., from being used at your desk. I work at a call center. We were expected to just sit and wait for the next call to come in, distraction-free, even if it was a super slow day.
As someone who has worked at a few call centers, are they nuts? That work can be mind-numbing. You need something in your hands, while you repeat the same instruction for the 400th time. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my other videos. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and ring the notification bell.